Oh, there it is. I am alive. This is a live update discussing the tornado threat near. See if I can change this title here. Hello everybody, this is a live update as we have Hurricane Eta that has formed in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. That pressure indicated at a minimum of 983 millibars by Hurricane Hunter aircraft. But the main threat today is going to be this tornado potential in the front right quadrant of this tropical cyclone, as that main convective band is just now coming ashore. This is a live update on that tornado threat, which seems to be focusing around the Tampa Bay area. I thought that when that convective band came in, that it would likely be associated with some tornado warnings, but it looks like the low-level lapse rates are a bit lacking across the Florida Peninsula, so some of those supercell structures are starting to weaken just a little bit. Adding the description on here. This is one of my first actual lives here, given through YouTube. I'm seeing your chats come in right now as well. But this is that convective band that I'm monitoring pretty closely, and there definitely is a supercell structure just to the southeast of the Sarasota area right now. You can see that hook-like appendage right there. This right here is a supercell structure that is definitely embedded within that convective line. You can see this a bit of an appendage there that's sticking out. Inflow notch as well, pulling in those southeasterly winds there, but some inflow, kind of an effective forward flank as well, extending right there. But these elongated appendages like this, you definitely have to watch for tornado potential. This is an area of elongated vorticity potential there, and really you can have the potential of a tornado wrapping up anywhere along that elongated appendage that's sticking out of the southeastward side of that. And this is a convective band that I'm watching that is moving into the Tampa area. And these are all embedded supercell structures here. This one just to the north of the Bradenton area, just to the west of Fort DeSoto. This right here is an embedded supercell structure that also has a chance of producing water spouts. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some tornado warnings that are issued. We already had a special marine warning that was issued down further south of Tampa from Sarasota, down south of there. That had the mention for the potential of water spouts. But really you want to survey this convective line and try to find those embedded supercell structures. There's another one that we were just looking at. Let's pull up the velocity view. This is on the Radar Omega app that I'm doing here. All right, I'll check my volume. We can increase the volume even more. There we go. How's that? Big time volume happening on here. Haven't showered in a long time. It's been a couple of weeks so far, but I do plan on cleaning myself up here eventually. Right now we're looking at the Radar Omega app, and this is that transient supercell structure that we were watching. It does have a velocity signature. It is pulling in inflow out of the southeast right there. That's what that little max in the green color is. And this is a mesocyclone here with this transient supercell structure. This is the one that we were watching closely, just to the southeast of the Sarasota area. And there it is. There's that supercell structure there, northwest of Shinytown, southeast of Sarasota. Kind of this appendage right here is what we're watching. Little pseudo RFD down behind it. This is a little forward flank, gust front, forward flank boundary right there. This is a core of that supercell. And we're really watching the end of this, the end of that appendage to wrap up and form a tornado. But right now we definitely do have a mesocyclone on the southeast side of this structure that is moving off to the northwest. I can put a little loop on this for you. It's probably moving a little bit right of north-northwest because it's a supercell storm. So we're starting to get some deviant motion with this as well, turning off to the right just a bit, moving more in that due north-south direction. But this thing is headed in the direction of Tampa, which is a very populated area here on the west coast of Florida. Here's the Petersburg area. This is Tampa Bay right there. And this supercell structure is lifting off to the north toward those populated areas around Tampa. So definitely keep a very close eye on this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a tornado warning issued for this storm. Look at further southeast of that. Storms are competing with each other a bit more. Not a lot of unimpeded inflow out of the southeast for the storms embedded with that band further southeast of the center. But this is the area that you want to watch for that front right quadrant. And here is quickly that tornado watch that includes the Tampa Bay area all the way through Fort Myers. And this is the WRAP forecast effective helicity, showing that ejection of this blob of low-level shear off to the north over the Tampa Bay area. It's supposed to happen by about midday. This is a forecast for around noon to 1 p.m. So here you can see that blob of big-time shear lifting off to the north along with Hurricane Eta. And this is the front right quadrant of that storm. You can see these convective bands as well wrapping in. But this is the WRAP model showing the strongest wind shear in the front right quadrant, of course, of that tropical cyclone. And this blob is lifted off to the north and is now parked over the Tampa Bay area. 3, 4, 500 0 to 1 kilometer effective helicities, more than sufficient for a damaging tornado threat with these outer bands coming in. And the WRAP is even hinting at some isolated renegade supercell storms further inland from the Florida Peninsula that definitely could have a tornado threat as well across west central Florida. So keep a very close eye on that. And this is the HRRR forecast, storm relative helicity. And the reason I wanted to show you this, there are two reasons. First of all, it shows the enhanced wind shear there across the front right quadrant of the storm system. This is the center of Hurricane Eta. This is the inner core there as well. But these bright reds are 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity in excess of 250 meters squared per second squared. But this shows you why the front right quadrant is the area that you need to watch for supercell storms. It shows a very enhanced storm relative helicity in that front right quadrant. The photographs are favorable for tornado production up there. And the front right quadrant of this storm system is coming right into the Tampa Bay area. These red arrows are actually dry air plumes coming in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So almost like effective elevated mix layers coming in here over top that very moist tropical environment at the low levels. That's acting to steepen the lapse rates at the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere just enough to get these convective bands that are forming and training into the Tampa Bay area. So definitely the HRRR model had a really good handle on the evolution of these convective bands and the lifting northward of that stronger storm relative wind shear north to cover up the Tampa Bay area there. And that's exactly what we're getting with these transient supercell structures that are lifting from south to north across the west coast of Florida. I think that Tropical Storm Eta, well, it's Hurricane Eta right now still officially, but I think it's going to pass just to the west of the Tampa Bay area as a tropical storm. Probably a weaker tropical storm than many of the forecast models and the official track is indicating. But that westerly wind getting forced up Tampa Bay is going to lead to substantial coastal flooding around the periphery of Tampa Bay there in the Tampa area. Probably a 2 to 4 foot type of a storm surge leading to a lot of flooding. But the big impact here is going to be the tornado threat with these outer bands. And these are plumes of dry air getting wrapped into the inner core of this hurricane. And it's not a surprise, not a coincidence that the convective band is formed right along the leading nose of those dry air plumes. So that dry air is also acting to increase the static instability a bit, even over the Florida coastline as these bands come ashore. But that's why you watch that front right quadrant for tornado potential. And these things evolve very quickly. So here it almost looks like there is an occlusion in there, possibly a little bounded weak echo region as well there associated with that mesocyclone. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already a tornado or at least some damaging winds within that convective band. Let's look at storm relative velocity. Not much there, so that's why there's no tornado warning, because this mesocyclone is not quite yet reaching the ground yet. Not quite a very stout low-level mesocyclone that would qualify to get a tornado warning issued. But look at this thing. That's probably a waterspout just to the west of the Fort DeSoto there. And there it is, lifting off to the northeast quite rapidly. You have a little bit of an effective RFD on the south side. You can see the inflow on the north side of the mesocyclone there. That's going to remain offshore, but likely a waterspout just went by the mouth of Tampa Bay. A weaker little mesocyclone to the north of that. But this one is strong enough to maybe even have the potential for a waterspout, especially as it crossed the mouth of Tampa Bay. There are a couple other mesocyclones upstream as well, closer to Fort DeSoto. You might be able to see a wall cloud just offshore there of Fort DeSoto right now as that mesocyclone is passing by. These are moving to the northwest, moving out to sea, so not as much of a threat to land. But that one to the east of Sarasota is definitely a storm to watch out for, even though the rotation has definitely weakened quite a bit on latest scans. These tropical cyclone tornadoes can spin up with little or no advanced warning. And it looks like the supercell structure to the east of DeSoto is getting impeded right now. Its inflow is getting impeded by this rain that's falling off to its southeast. The inflow or low-level winds are coming in from southeast to northwest here. And this was the supercell structure that we have been watching this whole entire time. But once the inflow gets impeded, that's when the tornado threat begins to subside for these tropical really any supercell, even those that are in the outer bands of these tropical cyclones. Looks like this kind of shield of more stratiform rain right here is kind of going to be the saving grace for this storm. Sorry about that. Phone call coming in there. You can definitely see this convective band from east of Sarasota all the way through the Bradenton area. This is that one that we were watching just offshore of Fort DeSoto. These are two supercell structures over the open waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico. This one likely produced a waterspout lifting northwestward by the mouth of Tampa Bay there. This is another one just offshore of Fort DeSoto that you'd likely see a wall cloud out there, maybe even a waterspout looking west from Fort DeSoto. A couple of those embedded supercells in that band that definitely do have some tornado potential. Looking off to the southeast, really this convective band, not seeing anything that stands out as an immediate tornado threat now with that supercell storm, embedded supercell structure that we were watching just to the east of the Sarasota area up toward Beverly Terrace. Likely getting some strong winds, 40 to 50 miles an hour in the core of this band. But the immediate tornado threat for this supercell structure embedded within that convective band appears to be subsiding as this blob of stratiform rain has been impeding the inflow into this supercell structure. But a little bit ago, it did look pretty favorable. Looked like it was the supercell lifting off to the north, but now it's just a good old-fashioned convective band to the east of Sarasota. Oh, and there's that tornado warning that has been issued after it's weakening just a little bit. But this is the first tornado warning issued for the Tampa Bay area. I wonder if this is a confirmed tornado. That's for Manatee and Sarasota County. It's probably radar indicated. That's until 12:30 p.m. At 11:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over the meadows or near Sarasota, moving northwest at 50 miles an hour. And that's the one that we've already been watching for a long time. And it looks like it's getting its inflow impeded just a bit by stratiform precipitation off to its immediate southeast. But this tornado warning definitely is for this embedded supercell structure that's lifting rapidly off to the north. Populated areas of Bradenton, Tampa Bay off to the north. But this is passing to the east of Sarasota, inland from Sarasota by about 15 miles, lifting off to the north-northwest. Let's look at the velocity and see if maybe on this latest scan, if it ramped up a bit more than we thought. I would have issued this tornado warning a little earlier. It looks like the rotation has actually subsided just a bit, maybe a couple little pops there, but I think those are just radar artifacts in the southeastern part of this warning. But it definitely had a nice mesocyclone further southeast earlier when we broke it live here. There's that mesocyclone lifting off to the northwest. What's left of it is to the east of Sarasota by about 10 miles right now, but it has weakened. And earlier it was more intense on approach to the warning area when it was southeast of Sarasota. That's when it definitely had potential to produce a tornado. But right now, and they did issue some special marine warnings for these likely waterspouts lifting off to the northwest, exiting the Tampa Bay area. But really watching this convective band as it's funneling into the Bradenton zone. This is a tornado warning for that convective band. That was an embedded supercell that we were watching on here live in real time. And thank you everybody for joining me on here on this live. I don't see any super chats or whatever. Stream health looks pretty good. Definitely feel free. This is actually my first live here on YouTube. So just going through some of these chats in the live chat here. I'm using this new. It looks like concurrent viewers are up over 600. So definitely the YouTube algorithm seems to be working here. I do hope that since the police checked the video resolution, I hope everything is working right now. We do have a tornado warning that we are watching, but really that supercell structure has all but evaporated. But anywhere within this convective line, you can get the spin up of tornado-like whirls capable of producing some damaging winds there. I do think that it had a greater chance of tornado potential just a little bit ago when it was over to the southeast of Sarasota. Now this thing is lifting off to the northwest, impacting the Bradenton area. This is the Radar Omega app that I'm using here for this live stream. Doing radar breakdowns. I wish I was out here storm chasing right now, but I did get some minor cold symptoms, loss of taste and smell. I'm on day 6, so that's why I'm quarantining, or else I would definitely be down there chasing this. Wish that I was, but I'm going to break it down here remotely as we are doing radar breakdowns of this tornado threat moving in to the Tampa Bay area. And we've already seen a couple of likely waterspouts that had just bypassed the mouth of Tampa Bay. These are lifting off to the northwest, lifting harmlessly away from land so far. But this one right here has prompted a tornado warning. We were watching this for a little while. I do believe they had a better chance of tornado threat before this warning was issued when it was southeast of Sarasota. And you definitely want to scan this convective band for embedded supercell structures. Looks like there could be one right here in the Bradenton area. There definitely is the one on the south side of this convective line that we were watching very closely. Down in this region of the convective line, it looks like there could be an embedded supercell within there. And it could happen fast, but really you got to watch for this minima in radar reflectivity to find those inflow channels carving through that stratiform rain. Skinny cape here, tropical soundings, but you definitely do have an inflow channel streaming in to what appears to be a embedded supercell structure on the south side of Bradenton. Right now it is exactly noon Eastern time, but there's a couple different supercell structures that have tornado potential. This one at the end we were watching for a while before this tornado warning was issued. They had a stronger mesocyclone when it was to the southeast of Sarasota. But this blob here of stratiform rain has impeded that inflow into that supercell structure. But you could definitely see a channel there. Thank you so much, Shelly, for the super chat contribution. Much appreciated. Thank you, guys. But you can definitely see this inflow channel right here kind of carving out a bit of that radar reflectivity. That's another way that you can identify these embedded supercell structures that happen. Really not much in the way of rotation, and this is pretty close to the radar site. I'm scanning closely to see if we could see this inflow channel, to see if it's flowing in to a stout mesocyclone, but I'm really not seeing much in the way there of tornadic activity within the tornado warning area. Earlier, we definitely had a well-defined mesocyclone to the southeast of the warned area. There is a spout that went by Tampa Bay. You can see, there it is, there's another one. So these things are producing water spouts, that's for sure. Look at that. That's earlier, so So yeah, this should be the latest radar scan. Not seeing much in the way of immediate tornado threats within that just yet, within that warning area. Special weather statement out here as well for those spouts that are going by. This is the forecast track of Eta, forecast to pass just to the west of Tampa Bay. 60 to 70 mile an hour sustained winds with that core. There is that tornado warning. Let's go back over to reflectivity. This is the latest as of noon, and you can see that convective line. I'm not seeing much in the way of embedded supercells with it right now, but it definitely is a well-defined convective line. You can even see the dry air coming in on the southwest side of it, kind of on the nose of those dry air plumes coming in from southwest to northeast. That dry air is also coming in at the mid-levels of the atmosphere over top the tropical environment. That is enhancing the lapse rates for this and contributing to more robust convection that's moving northward into the Tampa Bay area. But this is that first tornado warning that we've been watching. Bradenton area, it includes. I'm not seeing anything that looks like an immediate tornado threat. I would watch out though for this area down here, potentially could break up into individual supercell storms. So I'm definitely watching that area for some development of some embedded supercell structures within this convective band that has now moved ashore across western Florida. This is an outer band with tropical cyclone Eta, which has been upgraded to a hurricane with a 983 minimum pressure. Here you can see the inner core of the hurricane happening right about there. Center has kind of wobbled back to that hurricane center track. And if we do look at satellite imagery, we could see that the cloud tops are definitely warming with Eta. But that doesn't matter because the immediate threat is with that tornado potential. You can basically view this as a strong surface low. A lot of dry air wrapping into this circulation, and that's caused the convection to dissipate around this hurricane. And now we've just got the leftover spin. A little blob of convection is all that's left over of the inner core of this hurricane now. And now this convective band here has come ashore across western Florida. And you can definitely see how cloud tops have warmed. When I woke up this morning, there was a big blob of big convection early this morning. That was when it got upgraded to a hurricane. And now there's just a couple little thunder shower updrafts, probably just some rain squalls left of the inner core. This thing's probably going to be a depression when it makes landfall to the north of Tampa. This is a live weather station that has been set up within the Radar Omega app, showing winds gusting over 8 miles an hour. Almost 10 mile an hour wind gusts, and the winds here are coming out of the due north now. That's interesting. Likely influence from the convection. These are some colder cloud tops of that convective band that we were able to observe. Some water spouts that passed right by the mouth of Tampa Bay, ripped by at about 60 miles an hour. Probably a water spout just west-southwest of the stationary weather station within the Radar Omega app. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out. It's over the open water right now. You wouldn't be able to see it unless you're in a boat, and you'd have more big problems if you're on a boat out there with some big waves. But there it is. There's the little supercell structure, maybe even a little less split up there, getting peeled off the backside of it. This is that mesocyclone. You can see the cyclonic curvature to the reflectivity there in a cyclonic direction, pulling in its inflow from the due east or the east-northeast there. But this was likely a waterspout producer as it whipped by the mouth of Tampa Bay. And we've got another one here that isn't as healthy, that looks a little strung out there. Not as much instability there. And then more robust convection in the tornado warning area. It looks like they moved that tornado warning a little inland and just issued a blanket tornado warning for this entire convective line from the Bradenton, from the Tampa Bay area all the way down southeast. Definitely watching areas within that convective line, certainly. Hell yes, I'm a storm chaser. That's my only skill set. But I'm also a meteorologist. I have a PhD in meteorology from the University of Oklahoma down there. 17 years of school, continuous enrollment down in Norman. Really, my only skill set is to be able to pick out tornadoes within these convective bands here. And I'm not seeing anything that immediately jumps out. You can see this shear zone right there, basically a convergent zone where the winds are coming together. A line there of potential vorticity formation along that convective line. And really what I'm watching for here are embedded supercell structures, little inflow channels. So maybe a minimum in that convection, showing where the inflow might be flowing into these stronger updrafts or embedded mesocyclones. That's what I'm watching right now. And up here near Tampa Bay, mostly just some stratiform precip falling up near Tampa. Just starting to move in some of that convection. There's the weather reporting station showing those northerly winds, probably influenced by some of the convection around the area, maybe some stronger winds as well, maybe some northerly inflow flowing into this embedded thunderstorm or convective shower there, some type of a squall. But these are the bands of tornado producers now, these isolated bean-shaped storms that are offshore, well offshore, and moving off to the northwest. So you don't have to worry about these anymore. But there is this active tornado warning down near Bradenton to the north of there now. So you're in the clear in the Bradenton area. And basically you have this drier air coming in right in the nose of this, and that's where this convective band is formed. Maybe a little inflow streamer there. But nothing that's immediately jumping out as a tornado on the ground right now. But yeah, there's the active tornado warning. As of 12:04, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located over Bradenton, moving northwest at 50. But really, this tornado warning was prompted by that transient supercell structure that happened to the southeast of Sarasota. We were monitoring it here live. Then it went northwest into this tornado warning. And then the tornado warning was issued just as the mesocyclone was weakening. But it's still smart to have this whole entire convective band here warned. These transient supercell structures and mesocyclones can develop in between radar scans, come out of nowhere. So, and damaging winds are likely with this convective band too as it lifts from south to north through the Tampa Bay area. And this is why there's a tornado watch in effect. That northeastern quadrant, front right quadrant of these storms, that's the area that you want to watch. I painted that zone here using the HRRR forecast, storm relative helicity in the lowest kilometer. And these bright colors show stronger low-level wind shear for tornado production. And not surprisingly, it's in the front right quadrant of this tropical cyclone out here. Front right quadrant. And that's the zone that we're watching. That's where the tornado watch is in effect. We've also got these plumes of dry air that are wrapping around the south side of the circulation, helping to enhance just a little bit that instability out there. With that dry air, it's almost behaving like an elevated mix layer coming over top that moisture at the low levels. And that's what's causing the sustenance of this convective band that has moved onshore and now exists from south of Tampa down to the east of Sarasota, prompting at least one tornado warning so far. So thank you guys for joining my live update on here. I'm going to start doing these more often. May 20, 2013, Connor, was a difficult one to miss. That was when the F5 impacted South Moore there. I actually lived in North Norman at the time and would have been able to see the tornado from my house. But we ended up blasting into southwestern Oklahoma to intercept another tornadic storm that actually was also producing tornadoes. This was the day after the big intercept that we had with Jim Cantori there near Edmond, across the road, crossed I-35 near Edmond, then went off to the east, produced a strong tornado. We actually picked up Cantori on the side of the road about 20 minutes after he landed at the Oklahoma City airport. Picked him up, and then we intercepted a tornado 5 minutes after that, crossing Highway 35. So that was a quick turnaround there for Cantori, landing at Oklahoma City, and then bam, suddenly we get, thank you, we the gods. Much appreciated. There's really not much of a chance of this hitting Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to cross over the northern Florida peninsula as a much weaker tropical cyclone, maybe even as a tropical depression. Really, the tornado threat is the big issue today in Tampa Bay. Yeah, I do actually have a microphone here. So I've got this podcast microphone that I can use, which I think will do a lot better audio-wise. Right now, I'm kind of using just the bare minimum here with this live stream, doing a briefing style thing. Eventually, when I do my live storm chases, I'm going to have multiple camera angles around the cabin of the vehicle, and then I'm going to be able to stream live while these storms are happening. I'm not in Tampa right now. I'm actually in my apartment right now, streaming live, doing a live radar breakdown of the tornado threat across the Tampa Bay area. Thank you again, We the Gods. Thank you guys for your support of the live chat here. Yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts. This shirt is actually, I got this at Chimney Rock, North Carolina. My mom and sisters live in upstate South Carolina within driving range of Chimney Rock. So it's definitely a beautiful area that we were able to visit. Sean Casey, I don't even think he storm chases anymore. I'm not certain on that. I think he might have just been storm chasing during the show and has moved on to other hobbies now. The Dominator 3 is up in Canada. That's owned by Sean Chauffeur up there, and I still storm chase in that. It's just this year we weren't able to get it south out of Canada because the coronavirus locked down the border. Dominator 1 and 2, though, are in Oklahoma City, parked at Tornado Safe certified shelters. I do want to fix up Dominator 1 and 2 this offseason and hopefully redeploy all 3 Dominators next storm season. I've got Dominator 4 parked outside. That's my Subaru. That was brand new in 2018, but that I have blown apart with hailstorms, big-time hurricanes, non-stop storm chasing, blew all the windows out. But thanks to my friends Critter and Sasha down in Denver, they waterproofed it, put an aluminum covering over the sunroof that was also blown out. And Dominator 4 is back in storm chasing action. And even though it may not look like a normal Dominator, I still storm chase the same way and try to get inside these tornadoes, so that's why I've blown apart that vehicle. But thank you guys for joining me for this live update. I'm going to try to use this live stream a little bit more here on YouTube. I'll continue to do these live updates, and I appreciate you guys. I hope I'm also going to be doing a live storm chasing school. That'll be done through Facebook and through YouTube. That type of a content. Right now, though, it is through the Facebook supporter community on there, but I'm going to start that content this week. Every week, then, I'm going to do a storm chasing school module. We'll be doing meteorology. I'll be doing the basics of storm chasing. I can help pave a roadmap for everybody who wants to become a professional storm chaser. I lived it and did it myself so far, so I kind of know the mistakes that I've made over the years, too. So maybe I can help you guys not make similar mistakes. I do miss working for KFOR just a little bit, but they would try to tell me where to go a bit. Like, would try to keep me around the metro, too, even though the better storms would be outside of the metro, and that just wasn't a winning formula for me. So, but I do definitely miss storm chasing for Channel 4 and delivering that information to Oklahomans in real time. My heart is still in Oklahoma, definitely. I love coming back to Norman. I spent 17 years there, continuous enrollment at the University of Oklahoma. I actually got divorced like 4 or 5 years ago. Almost as soon as I got married, I got divorced. But I was boxing above my weight class anyway. I was kind of surprised that she was into me there early on. So it was only a matter of time. But I've been pure storm chasing for the last 4 or 5 years. Rededicated. I was pure storm chasing before that anyway. But after the divorce and I lived on the road for a while off the AccuWeather credit card, I was able to use that card and I was staying in hotels as long as I was storm chasing. and decided to get an apartment here in Colorado. I can access the Dakotas in a matter of like 5 or 6 hours. I can get out to Kansas really quickly and intercept storms out there. I could catch Oklahoma in no time. There's a big airport I could fly out of. I like to mountain bike and ski hardcore and trail run out here too, so that was a good spot to settle down. But I'm living a life purely dedicated to storm chasing now and for the rest of my days. Hopefully I could storm chase for another 5 to 6 decades moving forward. Yeah, the tornado warning has been lifted down there in the Tampa Bay area. Probably should have been issued earlier. Well, there it is. It looks like it's still in effect, but I wouldn't be... Oh, there it is. Now it's gone. So that's right. That tornado warning has been lifted, and this convective line has bowed out a bit here. Notice how it's bowing out? That's as these drier southwesterly winds are coming in, and that convective line formed right on the leading edge of that dry air punch coming in and has caused it to bow out and lose its supercellular embeds. But this is the convective band that we're going to be watching throughout the day today for tornado potential. It is heading toward the Tampa area rapidly, moving to the north at about 50 miles an hour. So eventually this convective band will be moving up toward the Tampa Clearwater areas. So that's why you got to keep a close eye on it. There definitely is tornado potential with that band as it lifts off to the northeast. And will probably reform into supercell storms again. It's just breathing right now a little bit. The inflow is coming in from the southeast, so it's basically parallel to this convective line. When that convective line was more north-south oriented, it was more easily for those convective elements to develop into transient supercell structures. So it just needs to realign now. But there is supercell and waterspout potential with this portion of the convective line as it lifts from south to north, approaching the Tampa area. Alrighty, thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy my weather reports. Please consider supporting the Super Chat. It makes live content like this possible, live storm chasing possible as well. Never stop chasing.